Um, I'm Toby Mazer. I'm the president moderator. I'm the one who tries to keep the peace and disseminate all the information that we believe that you really need to be an effective and wonderful president, that are all showing the ability to do. What I see on the President is just unbelievable, and I appreciate all of your input. And I hope you find the information that we're posting to be beneficial to you. Um, Debbie Kainer Goldich just got up from her computer, and I expect her back in a minute. She is our international president. If you've been on any of our Zooms, then you have seen her before, and I'd like to introduce her and let her say a few words.
Hi, good evening. It's wonderful to have all of you with us. I also recognize a lot of names. I want to thank Toby for having this program tonight to give you an opportunity to learn some additional information and to be able to ask your questions, and to thank her for managing the Presnet, which is really an important vehicle for all of you. So I'm going to come back and talk about something else later, but I want to give everybody else a chance. Thank you, Toby.
Okay. Most of us have, when I got your messages, most of us have something else going on tonight. For some of you, it's almost dinner time, which is why I said I'd like to keep this to about an hour. On the call tonight is Barbara Esdring, and she is our Torah Fund person, our vice president. And I want her to give a little bit of an update. I know the number one question on everyone's mind is where are our pins? So I'm sure that Barbara will give you that information. Plus there are some other things about Torah Fund that you all need to know.
Thanks, Toby. I'm really happy to be here tonight with all of you. I am the International Torah Fund Chair for the next 2+ years, about 2.5 years. I just started in July, and I'm having a wonderful time working with Torah Fund and all of our Torah Fund leadership. Torah Fund is Women's League's dedicated philanthropy for its members and its affiliated sisterhoods in conservative congregations across North America. And we are very proud to support the education of future rabbis, cantors, educators, scholars who will serve as the gifted leaders and innovators of the conservative movement. Torah Fund is a grassroots fundraising campaign, and we're encouraging our donors to make multiple gifts throughout the year, not just a yearly gift. There are 3 different ways you can donate. First of all, we have the Torah Fund B'Yachad campaign. This is our general campaign, which strengthens Jewish education, supporting scholarships and programming at all 5 conservative Masorti institutes of higher Jewish learning: the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies in Los Angeles, the Schechter Institute of Jewish Studies in Jerusalem, Seminario Rabbinico Latino Americano in Buenos Aires, and the Zacharias Frankel College in Germany. I am going to put into the chat in a little while the link so that you'll have the link to donate to the B'Yachad campaign. We also have a special project. This is called Creating New Spaces. This ongoing campaign is supporting the physical and professional needs of our students. It supports the Women's League study space in the new undergraduate residence hall, part of the JTS state-of-the-art campus renovation, and supports the Women's League Institute on Gender Bias and Harassment, which is a special course of training at the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies, encouraging a safe space for discussion of gender bias and harassment. We welcome all donations to the Creating New Spaces campaign, and this is a special project, which means you know exactly where your money is going. I will put the link to that also. And finally, the Torah Fund Legacy Society is our planned giving initiative. Through our afterlife gifts, we ensure that we'll meet the needs of future generations of Jewish students at our seminaries. If you are interested in getting some more information about this, our chair is Edna Schrank and our co-chair is Marcia Topple. And I will put their information in the chat as well. But you can also contact the Torah Fund office to get information about the Torah Fund Legacy Society. But the most important part of Torah Fund is you. You and your Torah Fund chairs or vice presidents. You are our fundraisers. Your Torah Fund events, the emails you send, the letters you write, the women you honor, you inspire the donations to Torah Fund. Our region Torah Fund vice presidents are available to provide support to you. When you have questions or concerns, please contact your region Torah Fund vice president first. She will get the answer for you and she will know who you may need to contact next. We do have a variety of people who are important at the international Torah Fund leadership level. These are the people who organize things and work with the Torah Fund, the region Torah Fund vice presidents, and with you. And first on our leadership list is our Women's League International President, Debbie Kaner-Goldich. I'm also on that leadership list. We have a Torah Fund Vice President for Finance, Janet Kirshner, a Torah Fund Vice Chair for Communication, Madeline Gimbel, and a Torah Fund Vice Chair for Development and Long Range Planning, Agnes Emmert. And we come from all over the United States and Canada. We also have a Canadian liaison, that is Randy Schwartz. The Torah Fund office is located in JTS. We have a very productive staff. Lisa Paul is our Torah Fund director. She is new. She just started in June. Our Torah Fund finance manager is Cheryl Moss Solomon. She's been with Torah Fund for about 17 years, I think. And our administrative assistant is Meg Morrison. If you have any questions at all, Meg can find the answers. She and Cheryl are great at finding the answers to questions. We are trying to increase our communication with all of you. We're increasing periodic e-blasts to our Torah Fund donor list. And we have Chadashot, the Torah Fund e-newsletter, which is published 3 times a year. The newest edition of Chadashot was sent in November. It was sent from the Torah Fund office, and it was also sent from the Women's League office. If you did not receive a copy of Chadashot, if you'll send me an email, I will make sure that you're added to the Torah Fund email list. We are developing a more user-friendly Torah Fund website. We are planning to develop social media properties to focus on Torah Fund. We have a Torah Fund video right now featuring JTS Chancellor Shuli Rubin Schwartz, which is available for Torah Fund virtual events. And we also have a video featuring Rabbi Brad Artson, which is being edited. So it's not quite ready yet. And we're going to provide more videos throughout the year, especially for your remote events. We're making student profiles available periodically for use in your sisterhood fundraising and outreach and your bulletins. And although right now the Torah Fund paper materials are not available, we are expanding our digital presence. And available next week are the new Torah Fund e-cards. So there will be an e-blast going out on Monday, the 14th, to tell you all about those e-cards that are absolutely beautiful. And it's a beautiful platform. And it's working. We tested it and it's working. We're sending beautiful cards now. And now I know that you want to hear about the Torah Fund pins. We have volunteers who are scheduled to go to JTS next week to sort, package, label, and get those pins mailed to all of the sisterhoods that completed the pin order forms. We are following all the protocols of the state of New York, the city of New York, and JTS, because it is really most important to us, the safety and health of our volunteers and our staff. But we are working as hard as we can to get those pins out to you. Our volunteers are already scheduled. We have sent all of the information that needs to be sent to JTS. It's all there now. And so we are looking forward to getting those pins out now, this month. So we really appreciate your patience waiting, and as long as everything is clear and everyone can still go into JTS next week. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer, but we really appreciate your support of Torah Fund. Your donations have changed the lives of our seminary students by providing spaces to live, study, pray, programs, and scholarships. And we appreciate everything you are doing in your sisterhoods to raise money for Torah Fund.
Thank you, Barbara. Really appreciate it. It's a lot of information, and I know I'm waiting for my pen. I know what some places have done this year is they've said, when you come on to Zoom or any kind of meeting, just pick a pin from the past and we'll see how many pins show up. And it's been quite a journey to see some of the older pins show up on Zoom. So those of us who have a nice collection, I think mine goes back into the early 80s. So my closet's getting really full. But they all bring back good memories of seeing them at conventions and conferences and all the meetings that we attend. So thank you very much. And I know you need to go. Can you just put that information in the chat? Mm-hmm. I will be saving the chat. And like we said, this is being recorded. So I know some of you are scribbling down all kinds of notes, but you really don't need to. You can go back after this is edited and posted. So thank you. Okay, there have been quite a number of questions, especially this year, about per capita and how to collect and then get that money to New York for your per capita. So I'd like to ask Debbie if she would like to talk about some of that, please.
I would. Thank you so much. So at this point, you should have received 2 emails related to your per capita, and one came early in the summer, and one came at the end of October. And you may know that per capita is due January 10th. Okay. If you did not get that letter, then I will put in the chat who to be in touch with. Check your spam folder, because we actually had the database manager in the office make sure that every president got it, and if it bounced back to us, we sent it back to you. So if you did not receive a letter at the end of October, the beginning of November about your per capita, check your spam folder, let me know in the chat, and I will make sure that you get another letter. Okay. We have exciting news, and ordinarily in the past, you would have to write a physical check to pay your per capita. And we heard from many of you to say that your synagogues are in lockdown and your checkbook is in the synagogue and the Sisterhood office and you can't write a check. We heard from many of you saying you can't get to the bank, and we heard from many of you saying it's impossible to pay your per capita. So we came up with 4 ways to pay your per capita. And you can write these down, but I'm going to tell you that tomorrow morning you're going to be receiving this in an email. What I'm reporting to you tonight will come tomorrow in an email, okay? So the 4 ways that you can now pay your per capita are the traditional way with the old-fashioned check, if you have your checkbook, okay? The other way is a bank check payment. If you call your bank and arrange for them to send out a check with your routing numbers and Women's League's routing number, you can do that. We can get you that information. The other way is ACH Pay, which is a type of electronic bank-to-bank payment in the United States. And your banks know about this. If you call your bank, they know what an ACH is and they know what a bank check payment is, okay? You don't have to be a financier or a banker to understand this. If you call the bank, they will help you through it. And the 4th way is a money order, which you can buy at the post office, you can buy sometimes at convenience stores, but you can pay by money order. And I know Toby's going to talk about this in a little while, but we do not accept Venmo. Women's League does not accept Venmo, and we do not accept a credit card. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And Toby will address that later, but right now I can tell you that you cannot pay your per capita through Venmo or credit card. Okay, again, per capita is due January 10th. Now, you need to go into the database, either the sisterhood president or the financial person in your sisterhood or whoever it is that does that job, and take out your members that are not members anymore or who might have passed away, and you need to add your new members so that you have an exact amount of how many members you have so you can pay an accurate per capita. We just had a situation this week where Sisterhood did not go in and remove members, and they overpaid by 30 members. You know, that's a problem, because they should have gone in to the database and entered members and withdrawn members. Now, if you've done that before, or your finance person has done that and you know how to do that, that's great. If you don't, there are two ways you can get help. One way is on the homepage of the Women's League website, where it says Sisterhood Presidents. Click on that, and there are directions in there how to do that. The other way is to call Rachel Kessler in the office, and I will give you her number in the chat, and I'll give you her email. Actually, Renee, can you do that for me? Put her, thank you. And Rachel is our office administrator and will walk you through. She'll get on her computer, you'll get on yours, and she will walk you through it and help you understand the process. Okay? It's pretty easy once you've done it once. So for those of you that are new to this, or maybe your finance person did it and can't do it this year and you'll have to do it, it's very easy, and we have a lot of support for you to do that. Okay. So here's the thing, that if you're going to write a check, if you have your checkbook and you're writing a check, or you're going to get a money order, you want to make sure that you mail them not to the Women's League office, because we're having our mail forwarded and it takes 3 to 4 weeks. I think we talked about this at the very beginning of this call. It can sometimes take 3 to 4 weeks for the mail to be forwarded, and it's going to our executive director's home in New Jersey, Rabbi Ellen Wollens Fields, and I will put her name and address into the chat. So if you write a check or a money order, you want to send it directly to the rabbi's house so that she can make the deposit from there. Otherwise, it takes a long time to get the mail forwarded from our international office in New York. The letter tomorrow will include the routing number and the account number. So I don't need to give that to you now. It's going to come tomorrow. And again, if you don't get the letter tomorrow, be in touch with Rachel Kessler and she'll make sure that you get it. Okay. If you have any questions, the letter will tell you everyone's email to call. And again, it has all of the information. It has the routing number, the account number, it has Rabbi's address in it. So everything is in the email that you're going to get tomorrow. Look for it. Okay. Are there any questions right now about per capita that I can help you with? Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay. Like I said, this is all important information. Sometimes it just doesn't get out there quick enough, or you have questions. You know that I'm always available, whether you want to ask me directly or if you want to post it on the Presnet, go ahead and do either one. The only thing that I'm going to request is that if there is a question and everybody starts answering just by clicking on reply, then everyone's going to get 15 different answers. If you send them to me directly, I can put them together and send it out to you as one email rather than 15 separate emails. So please keep that in mind, especially if you're answering personal questions that someone has asked. I want to skip for a minute, and a couple of weeks ago, there was a meeting that talked about the Women's League Shabbat that's coming up. It's scheduled for January. but we know that a lot of sisterhoods don't do it in January. I know my own sisterhood couldn't do it then because I live in snow country of upstate New York, where the cows are, is what we used to say. There were no people here, just cows. And the female ones could belong to Women's League if I could figure out their name. Um, and um, we had to do it in May, April, when all of our snowbirds came back from Florida. But now things have changed, and there were a number of different options for Women's League Shabbat. And I think that some of you may have been on that Zoom. It was really informative. If you go to the Women's League site, and in a couple of minutes, what I will do is I will go to the site and share it with you and show you where you can find some of these things. Because to say it's on the site is fine and dandy until you open it and have no idea where to go. Although I have to say that there are a number of people who have been updating that site, making it much, much easier to navigate. So there were a number of different options for Women's League Shabbat. You could do it on Shabbat. You could do it on Friday night. There were pre-Shabbat services. One of the suggestions was to do a Rosh Chodesh on Sunday so that you could do a Zoom then. And all of the information that has already been posted about Women's League Shabbat, all of the different letters and the devars and everything else could be adapted extremely easily for all of us to be able to have a meaningful service. And again, if you need to talk to someone about it, you can contact me. I can put you in touch with the chairs of Sisterhood Shabbat, and you can contact them and get more information. And the one thing about Women's League, and I learned this a long time ago after pulling my hair out trying to do certain things, because when you get to the international level, you've probably held a number of different spots on the region level and in your sisterhood level. And the one thing that I have realized from Women's League, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, is that if you need help, it's available. If you want a program, it's probably already been done. And then you can take those things and tweak them for what you want. Don't think that you ever, ever, ever have to start from scratch, because there are so many people who are out there who can help you in your region, in your sisterhood, and we can help you navigate that and do the best that you can and make it that much better. There have been some questions recently, they're starting to come out about Mishloach Manot for Purim and what people can do for that, because usually you would be delivering all these packages. And I was on a meeting last night, and the region president from BQLI, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, started to mention that they have a number of different ideas of what's being done for Mishloach Manot through Zoom and remotely. So I had asked them for some ideas. I think they're going to be sending them to me. As soon as I get them, I will post them on the Presnet. And if you have any ideas, please post them for everyone to share. Debbie had mentioned the database, and this is something that is really, really important. The database changes on July 1st. And again, something that I learned a long time ago was somewhere in the middle of June, go into the following fiscal year and list the current sisterhood president for the incoming year. So for example, if you are listed as sisterhood president for 20 through 21, 2020 to 2021, if you are not sure who your successor is, put your name back in for 2021 to 2022, because on July 1st of 2021, everything gets zeroed out and you need to start over again. And what happens is then you end up calling the office or contacting Razel and saying, I can't get in order to update my database. So if you bring your name in there, which can be changed after July 1st to the new president, but if you already have it opened, at least you can access the database. And that becomes extremely important. It used to all be on paper, and we would be faxing in papers and mailing in 15, 20 sheets of members and all kinds of other things. It is all online now. And every sisterhood president, financial person, treasurer, financial secretary has access to that as long as they are listed. So it's extremely important to maintain that list. Debbie just mentioned there was a sisterhood who just took the paper bill and paid it based on that without looking at their database, and they overpaid. And the way that the Women's League office and the bank is set up is there is no way to refund that money. It'll be carried over to the following year once they update their database, but we can't refund any of that money. So if you want to make sure that you are paying the right amount for the right number of members that you have, please make sure that database is updated. It's the way that we contact everyone. It's the way that we keep in touch with all your different chairs or team leaders or whatever term you are using right now. But all of that is information that we need in order to keep you updated. All of the Women's League Week and the Shabbat message that goes out goes to people who we have their email addresses. So it used to be people were a little bit leery of giving out their email. The number one thing you need to remember about that is Women's League does not, and I underline, does not disseminate their email lists to any other organization. Debbie, you wanted to add to that?
Someone has a question, and actually I received two questions. One is, what if you can't pay your per capita this year? And many of you might know that we do offer variances for special situations. So I did write in the chat, Donna Finkelstein is our per capita chair, and her email is dfinkelstein@wlcj.org. And if you're having trouble paying your per capita, we'll work out a payment system. We'll work out some help for you. So we do recognize that it's a unique and challenging year. And if you're having trouble, please be in touch with Donna and she will work out something with you. Someone else, Suzanne, said you have a question about, did you want to ask it out loud or is it a private? Go ahead, Suzanne, unmute.
So I have a question. We've had in past years, like people who moved to Raleigh, like in March, so sort of towards the end of the year. And so then, we tell them to join Sisterhood and then we put them in the database so they can get Women's League things. But then when we say come August, like time to pay up again, they're like, but I just paid in March. Is there a deadline that you consider that those memberships are good for the next year? Or do we just say, so sad, make a donation? Is there any variance on that or?
It's interesting. It's sort of up to your sisterhood. I understand what it's like when you move to a new place and it's sort of the end of the fiscal year and you want to join. What we tell most people is it's a donation. Please understand that it's a donation and we'd love to have you join. You as a sisterhood could probably make a decision that you might want to charge them less of an amount. And is that my echo? No. That you might want to charge them less of an amount. And as long as the per capita is paid to Women's League, you might want to charge them. Your part of it you might want to charge less, or you might just explain to that person, it's a donation. We hope that you'll just make it to support our sisterhood and to support Women's League. That part of it is really up to you as a sisterhood and as a sisterhood board. Your board can make that decision.
But there's no pro rata from Women's League. So, okay.
No, that's a good question, Suzanne.
It's just, if you're 9 months into the year and they still want to get women's
Right.
league thing, it's
And the other part of that is if you belong to one sisterhood and then you move or you have a second home and you want to support that sisterhood, many times we get asked, do I have to pay my per capita again because I've already been paid? If the second sisterhood wants to figure it out and let us know that, you're collecting that portion of the dues just for the sisterhood, but without the per capita, we're willing to work with you and that person. I happen to belong to 4 sisterhoods. I just pay it all. I pay per capita 4 times because it's just easier and it's a donation. And many of us who belong to 2 sisterhoods do that. So it's really up to the sisterhood and your board to make that decision as long as the per capita is paid.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Let's read it. Because I'm listening.
Okay.
The sisterhoods that we're talking about per capita now. Do you have a sisterhood due separate from the per capita that is charged to each member? Or does the per capita come out of your treasury?
Are you asking me or are you asking the general?
Anybody you can ask that answer the questions. I know how we handle it, but I'm hearing it sounds different. It sounds like some have a sisterhood dues and then they also have their members pay their per capita, an additional per capita.
No sisterhood ever has a member pay their per capita by themselves. So for
That's
example,
Debbie, I'm
yes.
not sure that's true. I have heard some sisterhoods that they'll charge a fee for that. And then if people want to belong to Women's League, it's not encouraged, but it's their policy. Again, it's up to the sisterhood.
Wow, Renee, I never heard that. But for the most part, most sisterhoods charge a fee of $36, $45, $54, whatever. And the $15 per capita to Women's League comes out of that and they send it in separately to the international office.
Thank you.
Rita, does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that those sisterhoods who are having trouble paying their per capita has to do with the amount of dues that they charge to their members.
Oh, you're suggesting that they don't charge enough dues to pay to cover the per capita?
I know that for a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Where are you located?
And Nassau County.
If anybody else thinks of something for per capita, you can put it in the chat and I'll interrupt again as I did this time. Thank you, Toby. Renee, did you have something?
If there aren't any questions about per capita, if I could jump in here with consulting services, I don't want to stop anybody from asking questions, but I do know that some sisterhoods are saying that they're having trouble doing things this year, getting together. Well, I am consulting services chair for Women's League, and we have a whole group of consultants and mentors that are available to help any sisterhood having difficulty setting up Zoom. Sheila's on the call, Sheila Kaufman. She's our international Zoom chair, and she can help walk people through how to get onto Zoom, or we have other consultants that can help with that too. We can help you with programming ideas, and I will just share for a moment. This is the menu of the things that we can offer for workshops to help you. In addition, if you do go through Donna Finkelstein and the per capita team and are asking for a variance, we will have a consultant contact you and just discuss how we can help you. But these are some of the workshops that we can provide. The big ones this year, again, are social media Zoom, accessing Women's League resources with programming especially, and challenges, and just helping you get through. And we can make a workshop for anything that you need. This, as you can see, are the other services we offer. Presnet falls under consulting services, individual mentoring. If as a sisterhood, you're having some questions and you feel like you want an objective person to listen rather than going to someone on your board, we have people that will be happy to talk with you and just talk through whatever challenges you may have, answer simple questions. So this is all a benefit of your per capita. And we can help you get through these difficult times with other suggestions and ideas. So that's all I have to say. I will put my email address into the chat so that you can contact me if you'd like to arrange for a workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the questions that has come up over and over this year is, since we are mostly on lockdown, we don't know if that's going to happen again. And some sisterhoods aren't doing a lot of programs. We're not able to meet face to face. Why do I have to pay per capita this year? Well, Women's League is still working to provide you with information, with consulting services, with how to navigate Zoom and do things, how to raise funds through virtual programming. So even though we are not meeting person to person and can't give each other those hugs, we've all figured out ways to do virtual hugs. And like I've said a number of times, Women's League is here for you. And even if your sisterhood chooses not to do the programs, which I hope I don't hear, because there's so much out there to share, that per capita is still expected to be collected. The same way most of you are still paying temple dues and sisterhood dues and dues to any other organization. Whether you consider it just a donation or being part of this organization, that per capita is still expected. So even though some of you are having problems collecting that money, if you explain to your sisterhood members that there is so much available, if you look at the Women's League Week, even if you don't participate in your own sisterhood programs, there is so much on there that is available to every single sisterhood member, beginning with the Psalms. It used to be Psalms, now it's Pirkei Avot, every day at noon. And for those of you who have had a chance to get on it, I know since I'm back at work now, I can't, and I really, really miss it. It was one of the highlights of my day. Every day at 12 o'clock, I would see all of my friends. And these friends include people in Canada, in Israel, in the United States, from coast to coast, from north to south. So there is so much available and so much that we can share. There were a couple of questions that I just want to pose to you. One of the sisterhoods is trying to find out if any of you know how to organize a game show on Zoom, something like Family Feud or something like that, maybe against the men's club, maybe against your own group, maybe against another sisterhood in your region. That if you have any of that information, can you please post it on the Presnet? Has anyone done a craft fair with their members to show jewelry, painting, calligraphy online as a fundraiser? So there's a sisterhood who has done an annual art auction, and now they're doing it online. So if you have any information on any of those or are interested in getting more information, put it in the Presnet. I'll find it there and I'll see where I can take it next. Oh, one of the things I do want to mention is most of us are getting ready to start working on our region conferences. So make sure you are in touch with your region president and see if your sisterhood or some members of your sisterhood can be part of your region conference. And usually what we do is we ask someone from each sisterhood to be the IMA for the region conference and to try to get other people to join. So make sure that you get in touch with your region president about that if they haven't already reached out to you. If you want to know how to get more of your own members involved. It's difficult when you can't see them and try to get them to say yes to you. There are surveys that are available on the Women's League website that ask for members to share their talents and their strengths. A lot of sisterhoods have mahjong groups or yoga groups that they do together, or with other sisterhoods in their region. So remember that even though we're all separated, we're all together in this. And there's always something out there for you. I'd like to open it up and just see if any of you have any questions for about the next 15 minutes and see if we can answer them now, or if you'd prefer, you can email me personally. Most of you should know my email already. It's tmazer@wlcj.org. We try to make it easy. Most of us have that type of address, and it makes it easier for you to remember who you're contacting. But you can always send me a personal email. I can put it out there and ask if anyone else has information. Just remember, if you're going to answer to everyone, make sure that the answer is applicable to everyone. Otherwise, people are getting, like I said, 50 emails a day, and some of them just don't apply. And that's about all the information I have right now. I'd like to do this again in January. Hold on, Renee, I got you. I'd like to meet again in January and March and May. I should have done this before, even if it's just for us to chat with each other. But even though we have 75 people on here tonight, there are a lot of other sisterhood presidents who couldn't be on this session, possibly because I got the date very late. So I'm going to be setting up very soon dates for January and March and May. And if you can get on, it would be great. And if not, it would be great. I'm hoping that everyone who's on here tonight is signed up with the President. If you are not, please send me a note that has your name, your sisterhood, and the city. Because if you want to say Bethel, we're in trouble. That's a franchise that we know that's in every state. So please make sure that you sign everything with your name, your sisterhood, and the city and state that you're, or province if you're in Canada, that you are in, so that we can answer you properly for your area. Renee.
All right, well, that's what somebody had a question about Presnet, but if somebody is subscribed to Presnet, what is the address that they mail to post something?
It's on all of the emails. It's WL Sisterhood Presnet Google Groups @gmail.com, I believe it is. You know, I just automatically hit it on my computer.
Thumbs up. I'm on a new computer, so it doesn't show. So if you want to just look that up and put that in.
Yeah.
But yes. And then there is a question about whether or not there are chat groups or listservs for fundraising VPs, membership VPs.
Actually, I wanted to answer that.
Yeah, thank you.
I was waiting. Do you mind? Can I?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
No, I'm reading the
I didn't know if you were finished, Renee. So many of you should receive WL Week, Women's League Week. It comes out on Tuesday, sometimes earlier than others. Today, it came out late in the afternoon. And on that, it has all the information for the different forums that we hold. Now, in October, we did a forum and a workshop for Judaica shop chairs. We had 175 on, okay? In November, early November, we did a membership forum. We had 240 people on, whether you were the sisterhood president, the membership vice president, the membership chair, the financial secretary who does per capita, and we're having another one in a few weeks. All of that information is on Women's League Week. So it comes to you every week, and many of you don't open it, and many of you open it and just skim through it. But really, as sisterhood president, there's a lot of information there about programming that will help you in terms of programs and workshops and forums for specific positions in your sisterhood and in the region. So read it more thoroughly, open it. First of all, open it and read it and learn about what we're doing. And if you're a sisterhood president and right now you're worried about running a program, there are so many programs offered on that Women's League week that you don't have to manage programs in your sisterhood if you just encourage your sisterhood to participate in the region programs that are listed and the international programs that are listed. Your sisterhood, your members, because they pay per capita, are entitled to attend every single program listed on Women's League Week. Hang on, Suzanne. So I just want to say that when you're looking for a membership program to teach about membership and give you ideas, read Women's League Week and register for it. If you're looking for something in fundraising, we have a fundraising forum. It's all there. You just have to read it and register and sign up. Suzanne.
I also am on the Judaic forum, which I guess is a listserv. I don't know what you call it, but right. So we have regular, people can post to it and it's this regular ongoing thing. Can we have that for our fundraising people and our membership people too? So they don't have to, honestly, they're working and they have kids, they're not going to look, but could they have something where there is that sort of spontaneous interaction that is not necessarily a forum on a specific night, but can be an ongoing thing where they discuss things among themselves? Can we set that up for them as well?
So we right now have 7 listservs, and membership and fundraising. Good idea. Let me check into it.
Okay. Because I think that would be easier for them. And I got so much information from the Judaica forum. It was amazing, just amazing. And that's ongoing and wonderful.
I have to say though, there's a Presnet, which is a listserv. And, what we hear from a lot of people is that there's too much email and too much this and too much, too many places to go and to learn. And so what we tried to do with membership was have so far 2 workshops, and we're going to have 2 more in the next 2 months, and to try to space them out. And we gave each one a topic and a concern. So one was on how to pay your per capita in this time of COVID. And I forget the topic for the next one, but we don't want to overdo it because we do hear from our members, it's too much. So we're starting with the workshops, but I will talk to the membership people to see if they would consider doing a listserv, and the fundraising people.
Because then people can talk among themselves for ideas of how do you reach new members, how do you encourage new members, how do you mentor, and just the vice presidents could do that, right? And then come back to their board. So they're not going to be on Judaic Forum or Presnet and things.
So somebody just wrote that she got 4 emails for Sisterhood Shabbat every week duplicates. Gail Sussman. Gail, you got that from your own sisterhood, not from International Women's League. Because we haven't even, yes, Toby?
I take the Women's League week and the Shabbat message, and I send it to the Presnet every week, every Tuesday or Wednesday, right after I get it, just to make sure that those who aren't getting it are getting it. So part of that is my fault, but I want to make sure that all of the sisterhood presidents who are on the Presnet are getting it. So I apologize, and I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that other than if you see it coming from multiple places, delete a couple of them before you open them.
I'm just pointing out how frustrating it is that today I got 4, and I'm somebody who can sort through my emails and easily do it. And the point is, I really only need 1.
But that didn't come from us. We haven't even put out information on Sisterhood Shabbat.
No, not on Sisterhood Shabbat. The Shabbat message. Toby got what I meant.
Weekly.
The weekly message. I get it 4 times on the same day.
Wait, right. You get the Women's League Sisterhood Shabbat message?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's easy. I can figure out in the database why that's happening.
No, it's not the database. It's Toby is sending it out again, and then Sherry Lynn Rubin posts it to the Women's League net also. So they're getting it at least 3 times, once from Women's League, once from Presnet, once from
Right,
Women's
but it is possible if you're listed in 2 positions, and sometimes this has happened. So I understand.
I'm only on 1 position, and Renee was right.
Okay.
It is
check it.
coming from
Right.
Women's League 3 times on the same day, and I don't.
So
I
what
think
was
it's
the
feeding
4th,
for-
Dale?
That's
Dale,
all.
what was the 4th? You said you got 4. What was the
I
4th?
think sometimes I get it from Joan, but I understand that one
Okay,
because she's my region.
right.
What I don't understand is getting it for three times from the same.
Well, you're
agency.
signed up for 2 different listservs, that's why, and each one puts it on the listserv because not everybody who's on one listserv is on the other. So if you're only on Toby's Presnet, you'll get
I'm
it
not
that
only on that one.
That's where the problem is.
Yeah.
You're getting it. Exactly what Debbie just said. You're getting it from the regular Sisterhood net, from the Women's League net, and you're getting it from the Presnet, and you're getting it from your region president, and you're getting it directly from Women's League. And I don't think there's a way that we can make that any less. Other than, like I said, you know, it says WL week or WL Shabbat message, and just delete the extra ones. But there are so many people.
What I'm saying to you, and I'm just one person.
Right.
If I did that to my membership, they would be upset with me. I want to be very clear about that. We are all being beleaguered by emails and Zooms. And what we want to do right now is be especially thoughtful about that process. There's got to be a way that I'm not getting all these duplicates through Women's League and the president and you. It just doesn't make any sense.
We don't have very many people that are on both nets, both listservs. So you might choose to take yourself off the.
I absolutely will, but I'm not the only one.
You want to stay on the Presnet with Toby because that one's really applicable to what you do. So you may want to take yourself off the other one. You know, but I am suggesting that you all read Women's League Week, and I know that it's a lot. I worked full time and I was region president. I've since retired. So I get it. No one has to, I worked 40 years and I was Sisterhood president, I was region president, I was international tour fund chair. So I get it. I understand about working and having work emails and Women's League emails. I get it better than anybody. So, you know, I just think that if you're going to pick and choose and delete, the one thing you do want to read is the message that comes out on Tuesday. It does have a lot of information for Sisterhood presidents that you would be very, you know, it would be good for you to read that. So, okay.
Debbie, I don't know if there's some way I know you're looking into a new database, and that may be something to consider when choosing one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There was a question here about Facebook that I'd like to answer. Somebody asked if we can also have a Women's League Facebook group. I happen to be the president moderator for the last term, and we did raise this question. And there was some interest in doing it, but it was decided at that time that technically for Women's League, it would be very difficult to manage that. And I don't know if things have changed because it's a new term. We have a new communications person, but I will tell you though that the interest was not even 50% of the people that answered. More people answered that they would not. So again, something to look into. It was checked out last term.
So I'm the one who brought it up. My name's Beth Pfeiffer. I'm from Tiferet Bet Israel in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. It's nice to see your face personally. The reason I bring it up, and I keep bringing it up, is if we want to move with the times, and the younger, and I'm not even as young as a lot of my sisterhood, a lot of my board is quite young. If we want to move with the times, it's literally impossible to keep up with the Presnet and to search. Like if we were to go into Facebook and we were to start typing, each subject has its own place. you can search on a topic and you can go in and you can actually get the answers and not have to ask it 25,000 times. And if we're trying to promote Women's League for the future, for our younger members and for our ladies in our sisterhood who are really, really doing so much for us, and we're a very active sisterhood, Facebook is really an awesome place to be right now. And it's not that hard, and you could have multiple moderators and administrators and things like that. I'd be happy to help.
I have a question. What is it exactly that you call what you want? Because we do have a Women's League Facebook page.
Sure. So you would use that page, and then you could have a page for the presidents, and you could have a page for education, and you could have a page for membership, and then you would have everybody asking questions, and they would check the questions in the post before asking one. You would use the little magnifying glass, and you would actually be able to ask, has anybody asked this before? We've done so much on our Facebook page for our sisterhood personally, but we've also done a recent holiday bazaar online where we raised $800 just from vendors who we linked to, and it was all done by Facebook. Our rummage was done by Facebook.
The only difference between this and the listserv is that you can search easily and quicker.
I mean, I don't know how to search on the listserv to start with. So, and I doubt anybody else is searching on that. My guess is that if you were a member of that Facebook group, and there's a lot of different types of pages you can have. There's vendor pages, there's groups, there's, just your personal page. You don't even need to really be active on Facebook to be part of a group and to get all of your information from those spaces. And it's way easier to search to get answers instantaneously and not put all this extra email in your inbox. I'm more than happy to help organize something like that. I'm a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids right now in school here at home, but I'm sitting listening to my 2nd grader all day, and I have plenty of time to sit on a computer and mess around with things and add things and administrate things. If this is something that we think is going to be important going forward, and I actually really, really think, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now, I'm ending my 2nd year of my 1st term as co-president, and I've agreed to take on another year, maybe 2. And I'm more than happy to do this. It's something that I feel very strongly about, that I think would improve our communications going forward.
Okay, I'm going to turn it to Sheila, who's
Sheila
is our international Zoom chair.
Can I ask a question based upon, I use Facebook. Some of the things she said, I don't use it that way. Everything you said, you can do within one group?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Facebook is getting complicated enough as is with the changes.
It's not complicated though. It will not be complicated because Facebook has an easier user, interface. And right now, when you use Presnet, you're just getting answers, email, and they're hard to understand. There's a lot of gobbledygook in the middle of it. And Facebook, it would be very clear. You would post an answer and boom, it's there.
Yes, Beth, I know exactly what
I'm going to look into that.
Okay, I know exactly what you're saying.
Let Sheila finish. Let Sheila talk.
I'm on the communications committee because I'm on the Zoom chair. We do have someone working on Facebook. So
yes.
We are having a meeting in the beginning of January. Send me your email address and we'll be in touch with you. I know this is one of the things that Facebook can do. I know I'm part of several groups of it, and yes, it's so easy to search for things like that. So yeah, that's definitely one thing, and I'm not sure exactly because I'm not in the Facebook group of that part. I don't know what they're working on, but they are working on something. So
okay, I'm at Tiferet Bet Israel in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. I don't know if Anna Bailey is Oh, I will send you my information. You can certainly email me.
Yeah.
And
You can
Sheila,
put- you
I
can
will
put-
send you mine.
Okay.
Let me just say that we do have a very active and large communications committee. We have a professional communications specialist, and we have a committee of about 25 people who are volunteers, and each one of them have an area of expertise. And we're always open to new suggestions. And as Sheila said, she'll be in touch with you and see what we can do about this. Okay? Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Okay, there are a couple of people, it looks like I've saved the chat for me because there are a couple of people who said that they haven't received some of this information, and I want to make sure that they are on the Presnet. So if you're not receiving something, can you send me something privately to teammacer@wlcj.org and send me your question and your email and your sisterhood and your name. If you want to include your phone number, you can do that, and I will get back to each one of you in the next few days and let you know what's going on. And make sure, because I know it's difficult to keep the Presnet up to date. I'm getting emails from people who say I haven't been president in 4 years. Why am I still on the list? And I'm getting emails from people who said I'm the new president as of July and I'm not getting anything. So it's difficult for me to manage it other than going on to the Women's League site. And I know that there are, over 300 sisterhoods now, but there aren't 300 people on the Presnet. So there are people out there who are not getting it. It's 8:34. I promised you I would keep this to an hour. I can't wait till we do this again in January. I'm looking somewhere around the 3rd week of January. As soon as I can clear dates with the people who I better clear the dates with first, I will get it out to you, and then you can sign up and you can have the dates in advance, and maybe I could be at the top of that list rather than I have 4 other meetings that night and I can't come. But please know my phone number and my email is on everything that I send out to you. Feel free to call me. I do work part-time, but 6 days a week, you can still reach me. If I don't answer my phone, I promise I will get back to you later that day. So, please know that I am always available for each and every one of you. We're not sitting in some box or something, although tonight I'm sitting in a little box, and that I'm always here to help you through whatever you need. If I don't have an answer, I probably know where to go to next. So please know that, and please know that we're always here for every one of you. And I can't thank you enough for what each one of you does. Every one of us is a volunteer. And it's not because we were voluntold to do something, but it's because we stepped up and said that we want to do this. So before I let Debbie say goodbye, I want to wish each and every one of you a happy Hanukkah.
Actually, I was going to say goodbye, but what I really wanted to say was, if anybody didn't get any of their questions answered and you'd like to stay, Toby and Renee and I will stay on a few minutes. So, don't hang up so quickly if you really feel like you have something that's a burning issue. Happy Hanukkah, and thank you again. Bye-bye.
Marcy, did you have a question? You have to unmute.
I have a Torah Fund question. I made my contribution online.
Uh-huh.
Does my Torah Fund chair get a list of everybody who donates online?
Absolutely. Your region vice president gets a list, and your Torah Fund, but you should make sure that you tell your chair, your Torah Fund chair, your vice president, that you made your donation online and how much you made. But she absolutely will get a list.
I did. I told her, I said, are you getting, did anyone communicate that to you? She said, no, nobody did.
No, not yet.
I could tell her, but what if somebody else gives her?
Marcy, let me finish.
Okay.
Okay, she will get it. Sometimes it comes a little slow. Sometimes it comes mid-year, like at the end of the giving year, December 31st, but she will absolutely get a list that you paid online. Just let her know.
Okay. Which region are you in, Marcy?
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll get a list. It may come slowly, but your region vice president absolutely gets a list of who donates online. Okay. And your chair will get one sooner than later.
Okay.
Okay. You did tell her, that's great. We'll make sure.
But I'm thinking if somebody else randomly makes a contribution, will she know to give them the pin when she gets the pins?
It's a new system and we're working out the kinks. So if someone else makes a donation high enough to get a pin, they should probably also tell her that they've done it online. Okay. It's a new system. It's brand new. We're working out the kinks, but at this point, they're telling me that the chairs will know by the end of December.
Yeah. And I know that we're asking our chairs in our region to make sure they keep track of everybody that's donated. You know, if somebody makes a donation online, if we know they're going to be a benefactor, we ask them to send us the copy of the receipt so that we can track it and make sure that they get their pins.
Yeah.
I have a membership question because I'm listening.
Hold on, we want to make sure, Marcy,
Yeah.
hold on one
Okay,
second.
Marcy, sorry, Susan.
Marcy, are you satisfied with that answer or can we do anything more for you?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Do you know your region vice president of Torah Fund?
Mhm.
Okay. You might suggest to her that she let your chair know how many people, that she gets a report every month.
Okay.
Okay.
My question's a membership question. I'm hearing, so membership year for Women's League is the Jewish calendar, I'm assuming?
July 1st to June 30th.
Okay, because our membership year has changed.
Mhm.
I don't know how that impacts anything because we're going along with our temple and we now have a January, calendar, January to December membership year. So
Well, it impacts that your people are going to think they're paying per capita twice or their dues twice because
I know, but we're going to run into that. We just had somebody pay their dues for 2020 and we're going to be asking them for 2021 in about a month. And
Right.
I'm sure they're going to say, we already paid.
Right. You're going to be,
We'll deal with
a lot of creative bookkeeping.
Right.
And you might go back to the Sisterhood dues where it's July 1st to June 30th. Is your dues paid for through the synagogue? Do they check it off on their bill?
No.
Well, it's going to be a little bit creative bookkeeping.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It was in the plans a couple of years ago, but it didn't work out. So we're back to
where are you, Rita?
Separate Nassau County. We're separate billing, but the bills go out at the same time.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
Okay, we'll deal with it.
All righty, good enough. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. This was very informative.
Good. Deborah, did you have a question? Deborah?
She's
No, I was just listening, but I was interested in Marcy's Torah Fund question because my Torah Fund my vice president for my group is like losing it because somebody made a donation and how is she going to track it because she doesn't have it on her transmittal. So I want to be able, I'm glad to know that I can go back to her and say, look, don't worry about it. You will be notified.
Right.
It'll come to you.
And
She will be. And just make sure that anybody who donates online tells your chair that they've done it and to hold on to their receipt. It comes immediately. Hold on their receipt. They, as Renee said, they can show the receipt, but she will get a report.
Yes. But again, as Toby said earlier, there are how many Bethels in the country, and if it doesn't get registered right by the person making the payment online, they have to track it down. So that's why it's always good to get a copy of the receipt because there's a transaction number, or ask that person, what's the transaction number.
Right.
But your chair should get the report from the Region Torah Fund chair. I don't know how often ours is coming monthly. So.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was late.
No,
okay. It's okay. Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask that maybe we didn't get
No,
to?
because I don't know I didn't get here until after 8 because
okay, Deborah,
we talked about per capita.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Debbie, I'm sorry.
Did you hear the discussion on per capita? Okay, tomorrow you're going to get an email and it's how there's four ways to pay per capita. And the most important thing about per capita is that you need to be able to go into the database now, you or your finance manager, whoever does that, to go into the database and upgrade your list, your membership list, put in the people that joined, take out the people that didn't join, so you have an accurate number of how many people to pay per, dues and per capita for. And then the letter that comes tomorrow has 4 ways to be able to pay your per capita. Okay, so look for the email, and if you have any questions, there's information on there who to call.
Thank you.
You're welcome.